Greetings, research method students. My name is Dr. Jacqueline Abernathy, and I will be your professor. Many of you don't know me because I actually teach in the Masters of Public Administration program, which is in the School of Criminology, Criminal Justice, and Strategic Studies. And there was a little bit of a snafu where the Criminal Justice course and the Public Administration course got overlapped. And the class that I was supposed to be teaching was actually Thursday nights. So I had designed an entire class to be face-to-face. And when we realized that there was an error here, we found out that the students that we thought were in my class were actually all criminal justice majors U. And so they made a decision to split the class in half. Some of you get the online version, some of you get the face-to-face version. I'm here to show you what I've been creating for the last couple days. On the online version, I actually originally designed this class to be online. It works very well online. I know many of you are probably intimidated by the whole idea of research. You think statistics. There's no math whatsoever in this class. Don't worry about it. And this is not about, this is not difficult. It's a new way of thinking, and we take it step by step, layer by layer, and I give you feedback continually through this process. There's nothing to be intimidated about. And criminal justice statistics, research methods, how you answer problems, look at different scientific matters is the same, whether you're doing it for crime prevention and evaluating those programs, or if you're looking at making sure the trains are running on time in public administration. This was actually my career for 10 years. My job was to design research evaluation methods and go in and make sure that government programs and nonprofit programs are running the way they were supposed to be running. So I have a lot of experience in this, but I don't assume that anybody that's taking this class has any experience. Maybe you do, and that's great. That'll serve you well. But I don't want anyone to be intimidated because I am public administration and not CJ. I promise you that won't matter in the least little bit. And I don't want you to be intimidated by this course content. And in fact, I think I can show you something that should put your mind at ease about that. Let me go ahead and go over the blackboard that I've made for you guys with you and the syllabus, tell you what's expected this week. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize me. I can still see that I am talking. Excellent. Okay, this is your Blackboard online portal forum course. And to get to the syllabus, everyone knows you click syllabus. See, it's so easy. I already have one open, so I'm going to go ahead and go through it this way. I'm going to minimize it so I can go back to the course and show you exactly where to find everything you need to know for this class. But in short, the objective here is how to determine what is reality. What's not someone's opinion, what's not a perception, what's objectively true. And research is how we determine facts. Like 2 + 2 = 4. Doesn't equal 17, 38, or purple. It equals 4. That is a fact. 2 is greater than 1. 10 is greater than 9. These are facts. These are not opinions. The way we determine facts instead of opinions is research. And you're basically going to learn how to do the scientific method in social sciences for applied research projects in this class. So let me show you a little bit about the layout again. You're going to start here, where it says start here. See what I did there? Making it easy. And click here. And there are 2 videos. And if you're seeing this, there's actually going to be a 3rd one, which is the one you're watching now. You should have watched this one and this one before, videos 1 and 2. This will be video 3. This tells you a little bit about my teaching philosophy, exactly how I design my courses, what my goals are, and how they are crafted with the purpose, with the very explicit intent of making sure that nothing catastrophic can happen. It's all my classes are cumulative, which means that there's pretty much nothing you can do besides flaking out, not just simply not turning in something that you need to turn in, simply not taking a major exam. Apart from that, there's very little that you can do. You can't have a bad day and it be the absolute end of the world. There's always chances at redemption, and there's always a chance to, if you didn't quite grasp something, you have another opportunity to grasp it and redeem that in the next assignment. So that's my teaching philosophy video. It's relatively short. And then there's the boilerplate video. The boilerplate video is a little bit longer, and it's about professionalism, my expectations when it comes to preventing plagiarism, proper citations, in conduct, and how you're supposed to conduct yourself online, in person. So basically, this is the nuts and bolts of how I expect students in my class to behave. It includes the statements that were written by the university that I have to include in the syllabus. So it tells you everything you need to know about what do I expect from you. Especially what's very important is that I require you to cite any statement you make that is a true or false statement, even if it can't be verified because you made it as a true or false statement, but truly it was actually an opinion. But you say, this is the best. Okay, you stated that as if it's a fact, but that's clearly an opinion. If you state something as a fact, you need a citation. When it comes to this class, I don't need you to go all out with APA, but I do need you to give me a page number of where you got your answer. We need to get in the habit as graduate students of citing where we get our material from. So that's important because I cannot give credit to any answer that's given that is not properly cited in some way. If for some reason I don't require a citation because I'm just asking you questions from the lecture, I will make that very, very clear. Otherwise, if you were answering a question, I need to know where you got that answer. So here, introductions. Be good to get to know each other. I started first, and I included a picture of me and my kids, which actually is easier to see. That's my family. There I am right there. That's my little boy with his head on a stick because we wanted to get family pictures and he was too young to travel all the way to Uganda to meet his big sister and big brother. My husband is an Army veteran, and like I said, I've been in this field for, well, since 2005 technically. So this is who I am, this is my family. I would like you to include a picture of your family. Not necessarily your family, but at least you, so we can put a face with a name. And then I ask very specific questions on these threads where, I ask your name, what do you like to be called, if you have a nickname that you prefer, and all the list questions, there's a list of questions here on the forum itself. So when you click create thread, here are the questions that I'd like you to answer. I think it's good to get to know each other because the more we can make this as congruent's not the right word. As much as it can correspond to a face-to-face class, the better. There are things we can do online that we can't even do face-to-face. So there are some perks here, but I definitely want you guys to still be able to network with each other, which is why I also created, for discussion purposes, something I call the class lounge. And the class lounge is where you can post a news article that you found interesting. Doesn't even have to be related to research. This is just a place for you and your fellow students to ask questions. If you missed something, you want to know if someone has notes about something, this is a way for you guys to be able to converse. This is your place. I'll be in and out to see if I can answer any questions. But feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about here. Of course, you cannot talk about grades. That's a violation of FERPA. You cannot talk about grades. It's not an appropriate place for me to respond to questions about grades. So I went ahead and made this post, and I took off all the identifying information. But this is a sample of my grade book, and you don't know, who got what. But I don't think anybody would be necessarily embarrassed by their scores here. With the weekly average, because of all the bonus opportunities, well excels 100. The final research project, look at all these perfect scores. Some struggle just a little bit, but mostly perfect scores. Look at the final exam. Also, lots of bonus opportunities there. So these are the final scores. So anybody that's in least bit intimidated by this whole concept of research, I will let you know that the entire class has been designed to be cumulative. Let me go back to that syllabus and tell you what I mean. Your final project is your research design outline. Your research design paper. The outline is how I get a kind of the first draft from you and make sure that you're on the right track. That's what the outline is. And it's also a nice way to curve the grade 10% in your favor, because I'm not expecting you to get things right in the outline. I'm just expecting you to complete it. I don't expect you to know how to do it, because you're in class to learn how to do it. So that was meant to kind of take some anxiety off of you guys by throwing some points your direction. So yes, you have down here your final research design paper. It is worth 20% of your final grade, which is one reason why I need to make sure that you're on the right track. Your final research design paper writes itself. Let me tell you why. These weekly assignments right here, your weekly assignments are often sections of your paper. And then I get your paper section, I grade it, I point out the issues there are with it, perhaps with logic, perhaps with rigor. And I explain what the issues are, and you have a chance to fix those issues. And because this is cumulative, you're turning it in, every time you turn in a new section, you also turn in the previous sections. Means that you should know well in advance of the final paper being due that you got full points for all of those previous sections that you've had ample opportunity to fix. So the way this class works is, as long as you stay on top of things, turn things in, make corrections, you should not have any issues whatsoever. There are 2 exams. These come from the weekly assignments that are not the written ones. The written ones, like I said, when you giving me portions of your final paper. But there's also short answer questions in Blackboard in test form that are typically about the chapter or the lecture. The way I've done this is I have alternated. I looked far and wide for a good research methods textbook. I didn't like any of them. I found one that was the least heinous, that I felt like I could supplement with my own material very well. I'm going to write my own eventually to remedy this, but in the meantime, basically, here's how it works. You'll have a lecture from me, and then you'll read the chapter on your own. And my lecture is supposed to explain what I did not feel like was explained very well in the textbook, and also to give information that was just flat out missing from the textbook. So notice lecture, chapter. Chapter 1 lecture, chapter 1 on its own, chapter 2 lecture. So you'll notice that you'll have a PowerPoint where I'm explaining things to you, but then there are weeks where I'm not going to explain it to you. I've already explained it to you, or I'm going to follow up on it. And for your chapters, when you're reading them on your own, you'll have short answer questions. And that's when you need to remember, use your page numbers and cite your answers from the chapter with a page number. You don't want to use the glossary if it's a definition, because sometimes that cannot be the full answer. It cannot be complete. So you want to make sure that you get your answers from a page number in that chapter that you're supposed to be looking at for that week. So you'll notice this is how it goes. This week, you've got the philosophy video, the guidelines video, the syllabus video, which you're watching right now and you're reading right now. I'm telling you the format of the class. You'll have the introductions on Blackboard that I'd like you to do. And then there's the syllabus quiz, where I ask you questions, and you're free to reference your syllabus in order to get the correct answer. And the videos will certainly help. So that's all that has to happen this week. Everything will be posted in this class by close of business on Tuesdays, and it won't be due until Monday night at 11:59 p.m. That way I know that I'm giving you guys a full week. Typically I have things due on Sunday night, but I can't very well get things to you early enough for you to have a full week. So by posting things on Tuesday and giving you till the following Monday, you have a week, which is what I want you to have. So expect any course material to be visible Tuesdays at 5. If there's something missing, that was probably my fault, where I didn't press the right button. And if it's after 5 and you don't see it, feel free to holler at me and say, hey, what's the deal here? So I can fix it if it was my fault. I could be running behind. I sincerely doubt that, because all this material I've already worked on. So it's already pretty much done. It just needs to be polished. So I don't anticipate being late on anything, but I do know that I have a tendency to, if I'm trying to post things in a hurry, if I've got a meeting or something, it's so easy to accidentally check one box that, you know, puts the date where you can see it later than it should be. So, you know, those things can happen. I'm going to try to avoid it, but if there's ever something that I promised on the syllabus and it's not on Blackboard by the time I say it should be, which is Tuesdays by 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, please let me know. So the format is lecture, chapter, lecture, chapter. Notice also, you have your research design and it's in sections. I have a template, and this will be very clear on the boilerplate section of the video that you need to watch, that templates have many purposes. I don't do it arbitrarily. I don't ask you to submit things using a template just because I like something in a certain way. I ask you to do things, you submit assignments using the template because that is how you're going to be asked to submit things in your career, typically. Oh, I noticed the template's not on here, so I need to get that for you. But every template has sections, and I'm actually going to pause for a moment and pull that template up, if you'll just excuse me. Alrighty, y'all, it appears that I need to go in and do some massive deleting because I'm out of room to add stuff already. So it looks like a little glitch that I'll fix, but nonetheless, course materials will be here. And your template will be here, and I'll go through those templates in a PowerPoint and explain how those work. Your lectures will be here, and then I'm going to post a video review of the assignments and the correct answers. That way, since all of my exams come from the previous assignments, you will know what the right answer is. So there's absolutely no excuse for not knowing why you were wrong, because I explain why you're wrong. If you weren't wrong the first time, great, then you should do excellent on your exams. But even if you did struggle, it's completely possible for you to go get the right answer, study it, and make up for it on the exam. So here's where all the materials go. We talked about the lounge. Your assignments will be here. The first one is a syllabus quiz. But every week, this is not a self-paced course, and I don't want premature submissions because some people are just really overachievers. So the submission links only appear at the close of business on Tuesdays because I don't want anyone getting ahead because you're really wasting your time in many ways because it's not really possible to work ahead. We have to take this piece by piece in order to get it right. So the submission links will appear when the weekly assignment is due. So check here, close of business on Tuesdays. Now, go back to the, you know, I do have a copy right here of the template. I couldn't quite upload it to Blackboard, but basically how I grade these is there's a total of 10 sections that makes each section worth 10 points. And then I look at how many items I asked you to talk about in each section. What's the topic? 1, 2, 3. So I look at each section and I say, okay, I asked for 5 different pieces of information here. That would make every piece of information worth 2 points. And then I go in and I just type up the number that I've counted that you have. Excel will automatically calculate a point value. I formatted it to do that. And that's the way I make sure that my grading for you guys is as objective and not as subjective as I can possibly make it. So this is supposed to make life easier. It's supposed to make grading more fair. It makes grading easier as well because I'm not hunting around for the information to give you points for it. I know exactly where to look for it. And you know exactly where to give it to me. So that will eventually, once I get enough room in Blackboard, be in the template section. So that's pretty much how things are going to work. All your due dates are on the course calendar here in the syllabus. Everything is due, like I said, as much as I can for simplicity's sake, the following Monday at 11:59 p.m. So right before midnight. Everything has to be submitted via Blackboard. Otherwise, it could get lost. I don't have the same tools to give you the right kind of feedback. So it has to be on Blackboard. Make sure that you don't miss the deadline because it's not as easy as you would think to reopen an assignment. So I tell you exactly online when your exams open, when they're due, and when everything is due. If there are any necessary modifications to this schedule because of traveling and the like, I will let you know. Being that this is an online class, I don't anticipate it. I was originally supposed to be presenting a paper in Georgia on a Thursday night. And so we were going to have that night off. But hey, because it's an online class, we're just going to power through it because there's really no reason why we should have to stop. I am going to, for Thanksgiving, try to make it as light as possible so you guys can have a much needed break. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to cover with you guys. Like the syllabus. Everything basically that you need to know is in the two previous videos. This was just about the course, how you're graded. If there are any questions, go to the class lounge, let me know. I'm here to help. If there's anything I can do, I'm always reachable by email. And my office number is also on the syllabus. And I really look forward to a great semester. If there's anything I do, please let me know. Have a great semester, y'all.